your head on my shoulder.
Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome to my channel. Hey, I'm Kayla, and in today's video I wanted to re-talk about my clinical experience. So I posted a video about this, maybe, I don't know, it'll be like a couple days later, but I filmed it, let's just say a week ago, and I put it up on my YouTube channel. And then I watched it, like, as I was editing it, I was like, I don't know, I really don't like it. Then I was like, you know what, I'm just going to keep editing it. And then by the time I got done, I was like, you know what, I'm just going to post it. But then I watched it again after I posted it, and I was like, this is stupid. So I deleted it, and now we're here, and I'm going to be refilming it. I hope that my face isn't being washed out, because the lighting in my house isn't good, so I was thinking that maybe my computer would give me some bright white lights, but I don't know if that's too much. Let's just do it right there. I feel like that's okay. So in the previous video, I really only talked about how my day, I went to clinical 5 times, and I really only talked about how each day went, and not anything really informative that could help someone else. And that's why I wanted to do it differently, because like, yeah, that would have been cool just to like know what I did, but like I want to do something that's informative that could help someone else out if they ever were to find this video. So I came up with just 3 questions because I felt like that these were ones that someone should have told me, but I already knew, if that makes sense. Getting into the first question I have: how do you prepare for nursing clinicals? You don't, but you do, if that makes any sense. So if you've ever worked in the healthcare field or the medical field, then this is probably like a breeze to you about going inside, talking to the patients, doing your thing, getting your crap done, and getting out, and you're good. Well, then you have me over here and lots of other students who has never been like one-on-one oriented with patients. So like, I worked at an animal clinic, I worked at a boutique, but when I worked at the boutique, I wasn't really hands-on one-on-one. But it's really different whenever you're sitting there talking to someone and they're in pain and they need help, if that makes any sense. So it's really different when you're sitting there, they're in pain and they're moaning and they're in pain, and all you want to do is help them, but you can't do anything about it because you can't just shoot them up some medicine. And first off, in my first semester of nursing school, we do not get to administer medications. Next semester, which will be our second semester, is when we get to start doing that. But we've done basically all of the other skills besides med admin. So getting into how you prepare for it, I would say, first off, when you're doing, I'm sure everyone has checkoffs or skills checkoffs, where you go to the lab, they show you how to like put in a catheter, NG suction, changing a dressing on a wound, the physical assessment, vitals, and all that good jazz. Y'all probably know what I'm talking about. If you are a nursing student, or if you are a nurse and you're just watching this, you're probably cringing, and I'm sorry. But if you're not a nurse and you want to go into it, so preparing for it is when I went to the labs. I really took labs seriously. I loved like the lab and the clinical part of nursing. I do better hands-on than I do in the books, if that makes sense. Like, I finished this past semester with an A in clinical, and I believe I had to recheck on one thing, and it was IVs, and it's because I didn't answer a question in my packet. So it wasn't anything that I did wrong besides not answering something in my packet, which was fine. So I had to recheck on one thing, which was IVs. I passed it, I'm good to go. But that was like a part of our clinical grade. So then another part of our clinical grade is going to clinical, doing the pre-clinical paperwork, which you have to do. We did like growth and development cards, system disorders, therapeutic procedures, diet cards, and that was, you either had 3 or 4 things due every time you went to clinical. And we had clinical Tuesday, Thursday of every week. So getting to the point of where to prepare for it is, I would really take the skills lab seriously. But some schools, if you don't pass your skills, you can't go to clinical. So I mean, it would make sense, but I would really learn them and know them very well, because I will get to later on what I had to do, and I was so happy that like I kind of knew what the crap I was doing, because I was freaking out. But so to prepare for it, you're just gonna do your 100% best in clinical and doing everything you can to get to clinical. Cause like at my school, you have to go through all this stuff before you even get to go. So once you get there, you need to be confident, but you need to ask a lot of questions. So I'm a big question asker. It could literally be like, is it okay? Or not, is it okay? I will ask, like, if I see one thing that looks off, I'm like, okay, is this okay? Is this okay? And yeah, it's annoying sometimes for the nurses and probably your teacher, but you would rather be safe than sorry. And by you asking questions, it proves that you care. You know what I'm saying? The other thing, which these two next things are kind of silly, but compression socks saved my legs and my knees and my ankles and my life. They saved my life. I wore them the first 4 days, and the last day I forgot to wash them the night before, so I had to wear normal socks. And I swear to y'all, we worked from 6:30 to like 12. My feet were swollen, so I only worked about 6 hours. My feet were swollen and they were dying. So I live by compression socks, which one of our teachers told us. She was like, y'all, I live by these, y'all need to get some. And so I trusted her, and I agree. Next thing you need is a good pair of shoes. And I don't like my nursing shoes because we have to wear white nursing shoes. And mine are honestly uncomfortable, but the compression socks help. I want to wear like just normal tennis shoes, but again, we have to wear white ones, and sometimes there's not like, I'm not gonna say cute because I don't care about them being cute. They are Reebok, and I believe I've showed y'all them before, but if not, I can just pop up a picture. I have these, and they're okay, they're comfortable. I'll probably never wear them again after nursing school. I mean, if I do, I have these white pair, but, oh, I cannot pick my leg up. I have these white pair that I wear all the time, but they're Adidas. So preparing for it, again, we're just gonna reiterate everything. You need good compression socks. You need a good pair of shoes. You need to be confident, but ask questions because it shows that you care. Now, don't just go and ask questions like stupid questions. Like, what I mean by questions, like if you see something that makes you uncomfortable, ask about it. Ask if it's okay. Be an advocate for the patient. Okay? And then the fourth thing is gonna be when you go to your lab. I don't know how your lab will be set up, but at my school, you go in there, you practice, and then like 2 to 4 days later, or let's just say 4 days to a week later, you will check off. And I would really take those seriously because I had to put in a catheter. I was flipping balls because I'd never done it on a real person, and it is not the same as doing it on a mannequin and this is on a person. That's all I'm gonna say. It's not. It's not. Okay? Just trust me on that. It isn't. So that's the first question. It just took me 8 minutes to explain that, and I'm sorry, but so going on to the second question, I have what to expect. So coming from someone who has never been in the medical field again, except for like in a vet clinic, but I'm messing with dogs, it's whatever. My first day was rough. The first like 2 hours was rough because I didn't know what to do, how to do it. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. Let's just be completely honest. I was very like confused as to, am I allowed to go do this? Am I allowed to do this? Or what am I supposed to do? So at clinical, we were set up basically like, you take care of this patient and you're gonna do everything for them except give them medication. So basically we had one patient to ourselves, and of course like the nurse would go and do their own thing, but we were taking care of them from 6:30 to 12 on our own, unless we had questions, obviously. And if we ever did a skill that required like supervision, so like a catheter and IV, I don't know anyone who would do like NG suction, but anything like that's invasive, you would have your teacher with you or the nurse. But other than that, you did it on your own. So you gave your bed baths, you helped ambulate them, you fed them, or not, you didn't feed them, you gave them their trays. You're kind of like a CNA, if that makes sense. But then again, we also got to assess the patient. We got to give them discharge teaching. So basically we each had one patient to ourselves. We were not overloaded with multiples. We had one patient to ourselves. We did the morning care. We did the morning care and then slowly did a little bit of the lunch, like the middle of the day care. And then we reported it off and we left. So the first day for me not knowing whatever the frick I was doing, it was rough. Second day was the worst but best day in the world, because it really, like, that day proved to me that I really, like, I love what I do, and like I'm just gotta push through school so I can do what I love, you know. But it was a rough day, as in, like, I didn't stop working at all, which is great, and I love fast-paced. I do best in fast-paced situations rather than sitting like this twiddling my fingers. I can't, like, it makes me bored, and like I want that, you know what I'm saying. And then as the days went on, I progressively got better. So what you're going to expect is, if you've never done it, you're gonna never ever expect anything you're not gonna experience anything like this ever, because it blew my mind. You don't really know, like, you sit there and you think about, like, okay, what does a nurse do? There's honestly a lot of sitting around because they have to document and stuff like that, but like the other side of it, of that patient-centered care, is what I love. Oh y'all, it gets me turned up when people start asking me about how my clinical went, because it was my favorite. Now don't ask me about pharmacology, because I hate it and I never want to look at it again, even though I know I'll have to look at it for the rest of my life. That was a rough class, but I passed and it doesn't matter. So that's what you're going to expect, is real world situations. People are actually going to be in pain. People are actually going to need assistance and your help, and you have to be there for them, and you have to be an advocate, because just because you're a nursing student does not mean that you can just not do something and leave it for someone else to do, because that is abandonment of your patient, and you cannot do that. Just because we are nursing students doesn't mean that we can, all the laws still hold up to us. I don't know if you know that, but you can still get in lots of trouble even in nursing school. You're not held to a lower standard or anything like that. Well, in my school, we're not. I don't know how other schools are. I'm speaking from my experience, but from my school, we are not set at lower standards. They put us out there and they act like we're a freaking RN. We're not. We're baby nurses. We're baby nurses, okay? So this one was kind of a funny one, but I knew the first two were like something that people really would want to know. But the third one is how to survive your nursing clinical the first day, or really any of the days. So I don't do this a lot, but it did help. Oh, I just scratched my face. When I did do it, was getting plenty of sleep. So my first night of clinical, I got up at 5, showered, left my house by like 5:45, and was at the hospital by like 6:15. I had to be there at 6:30, stuff like that. But there were some nights, once clinical got really deep into it and we were taking tests, going to clinical, having 4 hours of lecture, clinical, this, blah, we were just like doing this. It was just insane. I remember one night I stayed up to like 2 o'clock doing preclinical work. It was on a Wednesday, so I had already done preclinical work for Tuesday. I think we had like some kind of test on Wednesday, so I couldn't really do it Tuesday night because I had to study for the test. And then I was up to like 2 a.m. one morning, then got up at 5, went there and went to clinical, left clinical, went and got a crack tea. And if you don't know what a crack tea, it's just like, I call them crack teas, but it's like a nutritional energy drink that makes you so jittery, and it just gives you a lot of energy, and I needed it. And so we did that. I did all my post-clinical work that day and stayed up till like 3 o'clock. So I'd been up for like almost 24 hours. I don't know if the timeline just matched, but I was up for almost 24 hours. And I didn't have school on Friday, which was great because that was Thursday. And so I like just slept till like 11 the next day, and then I was fine. But you need to get plenty of sleep. You need to be drinking water while you're at clinical. And if you are a type of person who likes coffee, I would really suggest getting up 30 minutes earlier, make yourself a cup of coffee, and just enjoy it. Get some sleep, enjoy your cup of coffee, because you get there at 6:30, about 9 o'clock, when it's right there dead in the middle, you're gonna be like, I need some coffee. And for us, we were not allowed to bring coffee, we were not allowed to bring a soda, we were allowed to bring a bottled water and a snack, plus our belongings. So I had like my little clinical bag that had all my stuff in it, and I would always bring like a little granola bar, and I'd bring a water bottle, like a water, it's just a water bottle, but it's not plastic because I don't like to use plastic. That's irrelevant, but I would bring that And I would go in there and drink lots of water, trying to keep me hydrated, keep all the fluids going and stuff. And the snack is what saved me, because I don't know if like any of y'all know that, but if I don't eat in the morning times, like my blood sugar will drop, but I have a really hard time like getting up in the morning and eating. So those little snacks really, really helped me out a lot. But most importantly of how to survive it is just to go out there and do your best. If you do something wrong, own up to it. Some stuff you might think will be the end of the world, and it will probably be very minor, but I don't mean that as in like you go in there and give the wrong medications. This is not what I'm talking about. I'm just talking about you as a person. You may say something wrong. You may be shaking your voice. You may do all this, but all you gotta do is get through the first day, and I promise it'll slowly get, I'm not gonna say easier, I wanna say you'll get better at it, because in the nursing field, it never gets easier. You just get better at it, if that makes any sense. So that is my that is my ways of how to survive clinical and how to prepare for it, expect, and surviving it. Again, thank you guys so much for watching this. If you have any more questions, let me know down below, and I will be glad to answer them to the best of my ability. Again, just remember, this was based off of my experience and my school and my nursing career, my nursing experience. So it could be completely different for you, but if you have any questions, put them down below. I'll answer them to the best of my ability. And again, thank you guys so much for watching. And don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell notification to be notified when I upload a video. And I'll see you next time. Bye.